Welcome to DeenReport. For Muslims, by Muslims. Here are your top stories of the day, what's happening, what's verified, and why it matters for Muslim communities around the world. Let's get into it.
In the Netherlands, the national privacy regulator has fined 10 municipalities a total of €250,000 after finding they secretly processed sensitive personal data tied to investigations into Muslim communities. Each municipality received a €25,000 fine. Dutch reporting says outside researchers were commissioned to map mosque networks and community structures, and some files reportedly included religious details and other personal information, collected without people being told they were being assessed. Authorities also said some reports were shared beyond local government, including with police and the National Counter-Terrorism Coordinator, raising questions about oversight and safeguards. The story traces back to covert force field-style analyses that surfaced publicly in 2021. And it still matters today because trust is hard to rebuild once communities feel singled out. For full coverage, visit DeenReport.com. New Zealand's Court of Appeal is set to begin a 5-day hearing from February 9th to 13th, 2026, in a case that many Muslims around the world still associate with deep loss and lasting trauma: the Christchurch mosque shootings. The convicted attacker is asking the court to let him undo his guilty pleas he entered in 2020 to 51 murders, 40 attempted murders, and a terrorism charge. The court's own case synopsis says the main question is whether those pleas should be vacated, including claims that prison conditions were so inhumane that he was incapable of making rational decisions at the time. If the pleas remain, a later hearing would consider any sentence appeal. If they are thrown out, the case could return to the High Court for trial. For victims' families and survivors, the legal process can feel like reopening a wound, yet the court must still test whether the legal threshold is met. For full coverage, visit DeenReport.com. Colorado has agreed to pay $245,000 to settle a lawsuit brought by Tajuddin Ashahid, a Muslim man who said prison intake staff forced him to shave his beard in 2016 despite his religious objections. Reporting on the case says he warned that shaving would violate a core part of his faith, but was told he could be disciplined and placed in solitary confinement if he refused. The dispute became a years-long legal fight over whether a correction sergeant ignored an existing religious exemption and whether the threat and order reflected discrimination or a claimed mistake. The settlement closes the case, but it also highlights a wider issue for Muslim communities: whether religious accommodations in prisons are applied consistently, especially during high-pressure intake moments where people have little ability to challenge orders. Civil rights advocates say these cases matter because they test how constitutional protections work behind bars and whether dignity and equal treatment are more than just words on paper. For full coverage, visit DeenReport.com.
Thanks for watching DeenReport. For Muslims, by Muslims. That's your top 3 stories of the day. We'll be back tomorrow with your next daily briefing. And if you want the bigger picture, join us each week for our weekly roundup, bringing together the key developments you may have missed. For full reporting, visit DeenReport.com.